Good evening, dear all. I'm sorry I couldn't create this video for the last 2 days. I was bogged down with a number of other activities. So here I am with chapter 17. I'm trying to do chapter 17 and chapter 18 today. Chapter 17 is known as Deva Senapati. Deva Senapati means the general of the Deva warriors. We will see why he is given this name. Now, after being taken to Kailash by Lord Shiva and Parvati, Murugan grew up there as usual with all his pranks with his friends. Remember the 9 Nandi Devas, the children of Nandi, created by Lord Shiva through the 9 Devis. They came from Parvati's Silambu. So their sons, the 9 Nandis, were always with Murugan. They were known as his brothers. So they spent time together playing and all. And when Devi saw them playing, she was so delighted. She approached Lord Shiva and told him, "Isn't it a wonderful sight to see Murugan playing with his brothers?" Lord Shiva said yes. And he said that Murugan is, he was created from my third eye. He will have all the wisdom that I have. He will have all the aspects that I have, he will have. And because, when he was created, Ganga is the one who was, when the 5, remember the 6 sparks that came from Lord Shiva's third eye? When they came, it was so hot and frightening that he summoned Ganga Devi, the river Ganga, to hold them, and she held them. So because of that, Lord Shiva says he will also be known as Kangeyan. He will be known as Kangeyan, and because he appeared in the Saravana pond, he will also be known Saravanan, and because he has 6 faces like me, he will be known as Arumugan. And so the various names of Murugan he explained. And after that, Murugan's Thiruvilayadal as a child started. He and his brothers, they were not playing with toys like normal children. They were playing with mountains. And, they will push one mountain, which will go and dash against another mountain. And he will go up the Meru mountain, Meru Malai, and stand there and shake the whole mountain. And this kind of childish pranks of Murugan. What happened was, the implications of these games were felt throughout the universe. And the earth also felt it, and the Devaloka also felt it. Now, these Devas and Munis, remember, they were scared to hell because of the demon Surapatman and his other demon leaders were terrorizing them. So then they went and asked for help from Lord Shiva. They were waiting for him to create Murugan. And they didn't know that all these calamities were created by Murugan. So they thought that this must be another attack by Surapatman and the other demons. So that's what the Devas felt. At the same time, this was also felt by the demons. So they thought the Devas have absolutely no strength to confront me. So I'm surprised. How on earth are they doing this? So the demons were equally surprised, but of course they thought they will wait and see what happens. So the Devas, what they felt was, they cannot take this anymore. Something terrible is happening. So all of them got together and they thought, let's go and see, as usual, Brahma and ask him what is happening and what should be done. So when they were approaching Brahma, before they could reach him, they saw this boy. Of course, it's Murugan. And they thought that this is the fellow who's creating all these problems. So they called Indra. Indra is, as you all know, is the king of all the devas. So he came and they started attacking Murugan. And they didn't realize that Murugan was created to fight for them, to safeguard them, to help them. They didn't know that. Of course, it's all the divine games of the Lord. So Indra was annoyed. Especially, he's a small boy. He's not a demon or someone equal to him. So immediately call Airavadam. Airavadam, if you all remember, is Indran's vehicle, an elephant. So it's a very, very powerful elephant. So he summoned Airavadam, got onto Airavadam, and started attacking Murugan with all his powerful arrows. If you all remember Mahabharatam, Ramayanam, all of them used arrows which were equal to today's missiles, that powerful. So he aimed all his arrows and started shooting Murugan. But what Murugan did was, he took out his, they call it the Panjabanam, that means the 5 very powerful arrows, and shot Indra, shot Airavadam, and shot number of powerful Deva raiders. All of them fell down. All of them fell to the ground. Some of them were dead, some of them were knocked unconscious. Now, all this happened in the Meru mountain. So, Narada witnessed all this. Of course, Narada knew it was Murugan. This was a small incident happening between Murugan and Indran and the other devas. So he quickly ran to Pragaspati. Pragaspati is the Deva Guru. He is the guru for all the devas. He is the one who educates them. Went to them and said, he told him, Guru, Murugan was created by the Lord to help the devas. But now, very unfortunately, there is a war going on between Murugan and the devas. Please do something. Prahaspati, upon hearing this, rushed to Meru mountain. And what he did was, he saw Murugan, they call him, he was shining like the Kalakni Rudra. Rudra, you all know, it's Lord Shiva when he's angry, when he's in Rudra Rubam is when he's really, his third eye is open and all that. Murugan looked like that, was shining like that. So, Pragaspati fell at his feet and said, Lord Muruga, please forgive all these devas and Indra. They did not realize who you are. Forgive them and please stop this attack on them. And he explained, you were created to kill the demons Taragan, Singamugan and Surapadman. Instead of slaying them, why are you fighting with the devas? Now, Murugan is also known as the epitome of mercifulness. So immediately his anger subsided and he made sure that all the devas were knocked unconscious and they made sure that they all got up unharmed, and then all of them fell at his feet. Now they realized that this is Lord Shiva's son who was created to help them. Now, they fell at him and said that we didn't realize your form. Please show us your form. The moment they said that, Murugan took Vishwarupam. You know, Vishwarupam, they always say the Lord's appearance. Vishnu takes Vishwarupam. When they take the Vishwarupam, they will stretch from the earth right up to the sky. Infinity, you cannot see. It will be infinite, stretching from the earth to the sky. Again, they couldn't see him, they could only see his feet. So they again prayed to him, please take your normal form and bless us. And when he did that, as I said, when he took Vishwarupam, the very interesting thing is that the seven worlds, Irel Ulagam, Ashtatikkugal. Ashtatikku means eight, what do you call, the eight corners of the world, north, south, east, west, and north, east, north, south, and all that. They will say Ettatikku, all the eight sides of the world, Ashtatikku, seven worlds. They always use the seven words. Apparently, there are seven words. Irelu Ulagam, 14 words. Irelu Ulagam. Irelu means 2 times 7, 14. And then the Kula Parvadas. The Kula Parvadas means each Kulam, they have their own mountains. Those mountains, Sapta Sagaram. Now, Sapta Sagaram is actually a place somewhere near Tanjavur. Sapta Sagaram is a pond. Very, very special pond, because they say this water from the 7 seas is contained there. I will have to study the background to that. That we will do later. But Saptasagara means a pond which has got water from the 7 seas. Now this is found somewhere near Pabanasam, in Tanjavur, near Pabanasam, a place called Nadur. That's where this pond is. So, but here what they are referring to is the 7 seas. So the 7 seas. And then there's another word, very interesting word here, you call Chakravalakriam. Chakravalakriam. Now I did some search. There's no clear explanation there. But if you all, those of you who are, know Malay language well, they use the term Chakravara. Actually, it's a Javanese word, meaning the horizon. So probably what they mean here is the horizon. So his Murugan's Vishwarupam went beyond all this. He was so huge. So when they prayed to him, he took his normal form, blessed them, and Indran summoned all his troops and then declared Shanmuga Peruman, that is Lord Muruga, will be the supreme leader of the divine forces. That's why he is known as Deva Senapati. Senapati is the general of the forces. So here, now that explains why he got this name, Deva Senapati. If you listen to Murugan songs, they will always mention Deva Senapati Muruga or Deva Senapati Shanmuga. Okay, now let's move on to everybody. The whole universe was happy knowing that the Savior has arrived. Lord Muruga has arrived to slay all the demons. But the time was not proper yet for him to go to war. But they all knew it's inevitable that the war will take place and the demons will be slain. So we move on to the 18th chapter. I will finish 18th chapter today. 18th chapter. Now, Narada Maharishi is one of the rishis. Narada, you all know, very interesting character of a rishi. He summoned some of the other important rishis to perform a yajna. So all of them got together, and it was done with great pomp and festivity. The yajna was conducted. And as you all know, the tradition is that when you conduct yajnas, you normally, in the ancient days, they all did that, when they do yajnas, things will come out of the Vedic fire. This is to help the people who are conducting the yajna. Normally, it is for global goodness, to help mankind. So they were conducting this yajna, But out of this yagna came a very, very, very fierce male goat, huge fellow. And when it came out, fire was coming out through its nose. That it was such a ferocious animal. All the Brahmins and the Devas and the Munis were performing the yagna ran helter-skelter. They ran all over the place. So they were scared that this animal was going to annihilate everybody. And of course it started showing its horns into the earth and started rushing at people. They were so scared, they didn't know what to do. All of them rushed to Murugan and started complaining. They all surrendered to Murugan and asked, Lord, you have to help us. This goat is terrorizing the universe. So Murugan called, remember he has got his 9 brothers who were supposed to be his 9 generals. He called, he called Veerababu. He called Veerababu and told him, go and see, capture that goat and bring it here. So Veerababu went and confronted the goat, brought it down to earth, pushed it down, held it by its horns and dragged it to Murugan. And when it was brought to Murugan, he just pushed it down to the ground, and the Devas and Munis told, please keep this goat here. We don't want it to, we need to complete our yagna. We don't want this to come and terrorize anymore. So he said, not to worry, this goat will be my another vehicle besides the Mail Vaganam. We have not come to that, the peacock is not in the picture yet. I suppose it will come in the forthcoming chapters. But here, this goat becomes his Vagana. The only way to keep it under control is sit on it. So brought it down and Murugan sat on it. So that concludes our 18th chapter. I will try to do the 19th chapter. The title is Brahma is prisoned. He becomes a prisoner, to whom we will see in the next chapter. Good night.
Su Kantha